Hello everyone. In the previous video I have seen how the return address will be stored onto the stack on the execution of call instruction. Continue with that. In this video we'll see how to use push and pop instruction in subroutine. So here I consider the same program which we discussed in the previous video, but here I little modified this program. So here I added these two instructions, that is move r4 #99h and move r5 #67h before the lcall instruction. And in the subroutine I am using the same r4 and r5 register as a counter register. So here on the execution of call instruction we know that the address of the very next instruction, that is in this case move a #0ah, the address of this instruction is 000b, will be stored onto the stack. As you can see here, the first call, after first call in the 08th location, because the default value of stack pointer is 07. So before loading the lower byte of this address 0b, the stack pointer will be incremented by 1 and it stores the lower byte first, and then again it increments the stack pointer and it stores the higher byte, that is 00. Once it stores the return address onto the stack, and now the PC will be loaded with new value where the subroutine is located. In this case 300. The 300 will be loaded to the program counter and it executes the subroutine. Here in the subroutine the first two instructions are push 4 and push 5, because in the main program I use the R4 and R5 register, and at the same time I am using R4 and R5 register in subroutine. So before using these registers we have to store the content of this R4 and R5 register onto the stack temporarily. If you don't store this value onto the stack temporarily, the data will be lost. Hence the very first instruction is push 4. So push 4 means it pushes the content of R4 register onto the stack. As you can see here, after push 4 the stack pointer is pointing to the location 09 at present, so it increments the stack pointer value by 1. Now the stack pointer pointing to the 0a location, so in that location the content of R4 is 99h, so that will be stored onto the stack. And next push 5, that means the content of R5 will be stored onto the stack. So stack pointer will be incremented by 1 first, that is location 0b, and in this location 0b the content of R5, that is 67h, will be stored. So later move r4 #0ff, move r5 #0ff, here we are using the R4 and R5 register as a counter. So here DJNZ R4 next. So once the R4 content becomes 0, it will come out of the loop and the very next instruction will execute. So here the very next instruction is not RET instruction, because if you write the RET instruction, we know that the principle of stack, the stack operates on the principle of LIFO, that is last in first out. So if you use the RET instruction, so it pops this 0b location and 0a location content to the program counter. So actually this is not the return address. Return address is available in the 08 and 09th location, because this is pushed very fast, right? So before the RET instruction, so whatever the data pushed onto the stack in the subroutine, that has to be retrieved first. So that means the next instruction is pop 5. So that means it pops the content of 0b location to the R5 register and it decrements the stack pointer content by 1. Now the stack pointer is pointing to the 0A location, and then pop 4, it retrieves the content of 0A location to the R4 register, and then RET instruction. So on the execution of this RET instruction, now the stack pointer is pointing to the 09th location, so it retrieves the 00 to the PCH, and it decrements stack pointer by 1 again, so it is pointing to the 08 location, and then it retrieves the 0B to the PCL, and then it decrements the stack pointer. That means now the stack pointer is pointing to the default value 07. So this is how you can use the push and pop instruction in the subroutine. That means normally the number of push and pop instructions must always match in any called subroutine. That means here I am using the 2 push instruction, and before the RET instruction there must be a 2 pop instruction. Otherwise the wrong value will be loaded to the program counter. So here, so in main program we can write many number of call instructions. That means it is common to have one main program and many subroutine that are called from the main program. So here in the main program I am calling the 3 subroutines, that is lcall sub r_1, lcall sub r_2, lcall sub r_3, 3 different subroutines. So this allows you to make each subroutine into a separate module. So each module can be tested separately and then brought together with main program. So it will be very helpful whenever the program is larger. So the module can be assigned to a different programmers. So next, the only difference between the ACALL and LCALL is the target address for LCALL can be anywhere within the 64 kilobytes of address, and the target address of ACALL must be within 2 kilobytes of range, that already we discussed. And the use of ACALL instead of LCALL can save a number of bytes of program RAM space, because this LCALL instruction requires 3 bytes and ACALL requires only 2 bytes. So this is all about the call instructions.